Hi friends, Kansi here from atop Serenity Hill. I'm also the host of the Creative Playground membership, where I help creatives just like you embrace play, curiosity, and imperfection in their art practice. More information about that is below if you want to dive deeper into what it is that we do in the membership. So today I am going to be playing with a children's board book. I've had a few requests to share how I would use a children's board book as an art journal or as a junk journal. I sent one just like this out in one of my monthly-ish Elements of Delight packages. It's a snail mail, happy mail thing that I sell. You can find information about that below. And people want to know how would I use it. So I thought today I would play in mine and show you all the different things that I think you could do. Honestly, let's be clear and honest with you. It's just another blank book. You can do anything you want in it. But I know that it's like an altered book, and sometimes that feels a little off to people as compared to if it was just a blank white journal or something they had made. So I have a bunch of board books that I have found. I get these at thrift stores. This one literally has 3 pages in it. So it is such a great one to just play in and have a small little art journal. I am a huge fan of small art journals. I love small surfaces, simple supplies, and short amounts of time. Those are the components of how I create currently. And so, to have a journal like this where it's only a few pages is not overwhelming, all right? And however you feel about board books, if I found it in a thrift store, someone did not want it. So if I can find it and give it to another child, that would be great. But if not, especially if they're kind of beat up, this one is like beat up, then I absolutely find it fun to work in something like this. Okay, so I brought out a few different shapes so that you can see they come in different shapes, they come in different sizes, they come in different amounts of pages. This one, you can see the difference. The pages are just skinnier. Okay, so they also come in different sizes. They're made for obviously different little hands. And this one is even coming apart a little bit, so we might have to glue that. But how I get started in them is they are slick, so I don't necessarily want to work with the slick. I don't necessarily want the pictures. So I went ahead and covered the entire book with one coat of gesso, just white gesso. So you can kind of see that. You see it's shiny. That's where the gesso didn't necessarily catch. But what it does is it gives me a surface to paint on. It gives me a surface to glue on. It gives me a surface to put maybe some transparent type things on, and I wouldn't have to worry about what was underneath it. So books like this, you might cover parts of it, and then maybe you would use the word magician as a prompt. This might be kind of fun. If you just use the word dinosaur as a prompt, what would you do? Could you add to this? Do you love the little people that are showing up, and you could work around it, doodle around it, and then use them as your inspiration? So, the books themselves might have some inspiration. This one has so much white in the background, and it's just a chair. Could you collage something different in the chair? So how you use them is infinite. It really is infinite. But I thought I would use mine today, and then we would see, there is something I learned. This was from Drew Steinbrecher, and I will link him below, but he does a lot of his collage work in children's board books. And what happens is the board book then ends up like this because it has a finite spine. The spine is meant to keep it just, you can even see what just painting it did to the book. So his recommendation, and it would be mine as well, is always to finish the book and then we'll mess with the spine and figure out how to get it to lie flat again. And then you can cover the outside. So you wouldn't start with the outside, you would start with the inside. So a few things, that you can do is, for an art journal, you could just use it as a holding tank for things that you have. So I have a lot of, not a lot, but I've been sent like Happy Mail, and Happy Mail sometimes comes like pre-done. It's not just, bits of paper and all that. It's something that someone put together, a piece of collage fodder that, to me, this is finished. I wouldn't do anything else with it. And if I was to attach it inside this book, I might just add some words and I would call it good. So I wanted to show different things that you could do when you're in it. So if you have fun collage fodder, someone has sent you bunches of tags or, collage clusters, and this would be a kind of a collage cluster. I wouldn't do anything necessarily with this. I mean, I would add it to another art journal page, but I find it so fun all in its own that I would just glue it in. So I'm going to start with this because I absolutely I just love this. So I'm going to glue it in. I'm using our glitter glue. You use you, boo. Use whatever glue works for you. And, okay. And yeah, I mean, you totally use what works for you. I just happen to really love this glue, but that's a personal preference. And I really want everyone to always, it's not cheap. So that's why I don't want to ever go, you absolutely must have this glue. No, you do not absolutely have to do anything. You absolutely have to create. That's it. That's my only absolute. Please create. Please do creative things. And then I could leave that sticking off the top. And actually for right now I will. Because I don't know. Maybe this is where, you go down rabbit holes. I can grab some washi tape. So I have some hand-painted washi tape here. And, this kind of has that color in it. Ooh, that's delightful. And this becomes a giant what-if scenario. Okay, I need a long piece, but I don't know how long, so I'll just rip it there. What if you tried this? What if you added that? What would happen if? What would happen if? All right, so my idea is to have this stick up, but I don't want to fold it onto the cover. And I will fold it over on itself. And then cut this off. So this video is going to be more just me live action trying stuff. If it gets to the point where something is going to be repetitive and tedious, you'll just see a fast forward. But now I've got something sticking out of the journal to get it started, and that is fun. If I happen to use anything in the journal in this experimentation that I have done a video on, I will share it with you, okay? So look below for any of that, just in case I don't share what it is. So do I want to continue on with the color theme? Maybe. So this is a piece of gel print. Ooh, see? This is what I'm starting to look, this and this. This is a piece of jelly print that I did in a class recently. And one of the things that is really fun to do in a board book is to keep things thin so that you're not bulking up the book. The first thing I did, what was the first thing I did? People put a big bulky piece in there. Why not? Y'all, why not? Okay, so I need a glue stick. It does help, unless you don't care, which I don't really care. I might actually just do that. If you want to cover the entire page, then it makes more sense to cover the entire page out past it and then trim it, okay? I don't really care. I like the idea of the fact that this has corners. It has corners. Everything has corners. It has rounded corners. So, nope. Okay, so it's too thin to use my corner rounder. But, all right, so I know I want to do that. And then I need to cut it here. And I'll round this. So that's a personal preference, just that I like the fact that this it's got rounded corners on it. So if I round it off a little bit, then I can glue it down. All right, so let's glue this down. Okay, and then I thought about the fact that I love this leaf, and I knew that I had gotten a piece of, another piece of Happy Mail that I could, by the way, I keep this handy, and this, anything I use, I'm just dumping in here for right now. So that might be kind of fun to add to that. And then, you know, I talked about adding like words as I go. So let's see. I like this. I don't like the whole thing. I think it's too tall. So I'm going to chop it. Where do I want to chop it? I think right here. So I still get all this color to match this. The pinks pull up from here, a little bits of blue, then tie into here. So how can you tie things together on your pages? It's not essential. An art journal or a junk journal can be just a collection of random funness that you're enjoying. But if you're looking to, you know, maybe spend some time thinking about making something cohesive, how would you do that? Do you do it in color? Do you do it in shapes? How would you do it? What would make it cohesive? Okay, and this is all I would need for that. I don't necessarily need, you know, do I like this somewhere else? No, I'm gonna hang on to it, put it in my little box. So, you know, an art journal also doesn't have to have these major amount of things, like so much stuff added to it. It can just be a gorgeous piece of paper that you made, and, you know, a little piece of cutout collage fodder that someone maybe has sent you. I literally glued this down and added some washi tape to the top so that it would, you know, it would have something interesting. So let's see about adding maybe some words. All right, so this is fun. So this says, by the light of the moon. Could that be the moon? I don't know. But I also, do I want it here? No, I want it down here. I also try not to question too much what I'm doing. Like, not what I'm doing. Yes, what I'm doing. I think that's actually a fair assessment. But if something strikes me as, that's fun, why don't we do that? Why don't you add that? Why don't, I just go with it, okay? All right, so we also would like to say maybe something in here. page 1 done. So what else can we do? Okay, we've got some jelly printing, which is always great. So I'm going to add pockets. So this is the leftover of something. I have no idea, but it was in my stash. And if we're using this, let's do like here. So let's grab a piece of envelope. Okay, little pocket. So we know we want to add that here. So what else do we have in our stuff? Okay, so how about some background paper? So this against this. This is very simple. This is a little bit busier. It's some coffee dyed paper with stenciling on it. Okay. You're going to see not a ton of it. So does it matter that you can see the stenciling, or does it matter that you can't? I don't know. Let's glue a piece down. So putting the white down gives me, you know, I'm losing the background in that I don't really care what's happening with the little, you know, the baby animals. That's not my focus anymore. My focus is just adding to the page. Okay. And so I'm going to just keep finding things to glue down. That's what I'm inviting you to do. Just find things to glue down. So I'm going to glue this down, and I'm going to glue this down, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, so page number 3. Added the book paper, added my little piece of envelope, which now looks burnt, which is hilarious, with the black archival ink and some splatters. I had a sticker that someone gave me that had orange in it. Okay, so I'm tying that in. This orange ties in. And I found this, you know, I'm just literally going through my stash. What little bits fit in these pages? How can I just use up it can also be how do you use your stuff up. So now I have a little journaling tag piece of paper that I added an extra piece that was just floating around. The piece that I cut off of here added a little more interest, and I got something fun to tuck into the pocket. So it's lighter than the pocket. This ties into this, and it also still gives that zhuzhing of a little bit of funness sticking out of the top. Okay, so stuff like that is, you know, where you want to just see what you can find, what's sitting in your stash. I have all these little bits, you know, just floating around. That's what I wanted to, you know, impart to you. So this was left over from one, cutting out from my Cricut machine, and two, I used it as a mask for on my jelly plate. So I also have this great tissue paper from, I think it's Dina Wakley, and it is also one of those fun things that, because it's tissue paper, it glues down really easily. So I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to see about adding this, and let's try the next page, shall we? Okay, so glued down the paper, tissue paper, added the form, I guess, cut out, die cut, what was left of it, and then used the base color as the inspiration just to finish it off. I also took that color into this page because then it tends to tie the two pages together a little bit more, and then use this color as the inspiration for the butterfly. So, yay. All right, so far we have only done individual pages, okay? So, you can also, of course, this goes, excuse me, goes without saying that you could do a full page spread, okay? So, what would you glue onto the background? So I have a variety of things here that I glue. I've got some super wrinkly coffee dyed paper. Okay, I also have some super wrinkly watercolor and spray and whatever else I threw at it paper. I'm not sure if that's what I want. I also have But again, we're trying not to make it get it too bulky, but we're going to fix that in the end. I also, do I want to just cover the background with something? And I have this, what would I call this? What is it? Sewing pattern. There, I finally figured it out. Sewing pattern. And that's kind of fun because it has all this other sections in it, and then I don't know, maybe we'll put some paint on it. So this would be when I was saying, like, instead of trying to fit everything I've done has been to cut the paper and then glue it down so it doesn't go to the edge. So this time I'm going to glue the big old sheet of paper down and then cut it up. Cut it away from the book. So I've got my glue stick. You could use matte medium or matte gel if you so prefer. This is, just me sharing how I'm playing currently. Another day I might have used matte gel or matte medium, but today I'm using a glue stick. Okay, and this paper, this sewing paper is so thin. It glues beautifully, and then it just kind of disappears. All right, so I'm going to let it dry a minute, and then I'm going to, let me tear off this section, but then I'm going to trim it down. But while I'm waiting for that, let me go through, my stash. Again, I've got this random piece of paper that's super fun. It also is starting to tie in a bit of nature. I've got, this is my new moon. This has florals in it. This has some nature leaves on it. Then I've got the outside sky. I've got a butterfly. So how can you also start to tie in a theme? Do you have a theme that you could add on? Oh, look at that. So I've got this little mushroom sticker. I have this fun paper, and I do love this. It would stick up a little bit, so it means I have the opportunity maybe to add something else on the top, on the back of it, maybe. Okay. Okay, so we've got our full page spread, and this was one piece that I had. I glued some book paper, as you saw, so that now I have, it's sticking up, but it's not just a piece of paper. Oops. Okay, so it has a little bit of bulk to it. And then I had these gorgeous butterflies that match the paper, so it just kept going with it. I love it. It's like an old, you know, what a difference from starting with white, and now we have like very vintagey looking in the middle. Okay. All right. So as you can see, I still have two more, and then we have our outside. So I'm just going to play some of the pages, and then we will meet back here, and I will show you how we're going to fix this little funness. All right. Okay, so all the pages are done, and we'll do a flip through, but you can see it doesn't lie flat. And obviously you can just put a closure on it and all that jazzy stuff. But the good thing about a board book, where's my knife? I actually had a knife. Here we go. You need a knife. Is that you can very gently cut the spine open. See? I was saying this book is a disaster, and it is a disaster. It is totally falling apart. But what we're trying to do is cut this gently, gently, see? So that you can see the pages. Because then the book has a little bit, it will lie a little bit flatter. It's hard to tell but it will lie a little bit flatter because I have cut this off, okay? This is, honestly, I'm gonna cut the whole thing, but this is honestly, I would almost go with optional, because if you don't mind the book being puffy, leave it be puffy, okay? This was something that I know for those that, a board book lies really flat, and then you have these really thick pages in them, and then you're starting to add to them. So what would happen if you, if it was just splaying really widely open? So this is my solution. You are literally watching me try this for the first time. I've watched other people do it, and I am trying this in this video with y'all. So I have no experience doing this other than what y'all are seeing. But this is what I would do, okay? So now the book, it's still okay. Okay, I haven't cut through. And then I'm going to take, you can take any kind of tape, whatever tape you have. I happen to have paper medical tape. If you have really thick masking tape, my masking tape is not thick. Or I shouldn't say thick, I should say, I guess the word is wide. It is not wide. So I'm going to use this paper medical tape. And yes, you could see it definitely stays a little flatter. I have a lot of stuff. I have pockets, a dimensional thing, another pocket in here, textured paper. So I don't think that it's ever going to lay completely flat. Eventually it might, but this definitely gives the spine space to grow, okay? So that's my solution to cutting it. So let's decorate it. So I've got that. I found this gorgeous napkin, which I love the idea that this is all the colors. Okay, so I want to put that on the outside, but you can still see through it. So my idea is to do it, is to put some of this, why can't I ever think of this sewing pattern? Sheesh. Sewing pattern down, and then put the napkin on top of it. Okay, so that's what I am going to do. right, done. And even just playing with it a little bit, you can see that it flattened itself out as I added all the cover. Okay, so a couple different bits of collage. I added a front and a back. You can even see a little bit about the pattern in the background, which is fun. Okay, oops, bits of paper everywhere. And then here it is, my little walkthrough. This one has a pocket. I love it. This has a little tuck spot. When I added some, I was going to say with a journaling card if you want, I added some lines on the back. I love how the napkin pulled away. It was an accident and yet came out so beautiful. Kind of goes with the pattern of the napkin. So I tried to use some thinner papers to put down, but also, this is embossed paper, but also put some thicker ideas in here as well so that you could get some ideas of what to do in your little board book. So I hope that gives you some thoughts about how to use a board book as an art journal or a junk journal, however you would like to describe it, and have fun. If you've ever used a board book, let me know below. I would love to know. Okay, thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you in another video.